All right, Dead End Hip Hop, no politics, no BS. We're coming to you with another album review. Rod Wave, Pray for Love. Rod Wave, man, this dude, we actually reviewed his first album. Go check out Dead End Hip Hop podcast. It'll be there in audio format. But Rod Wave is he's an artist from St. Petersburg, Florida. His first debut album hit peak number 10 on Billboard Hot 100. He also has five mixtapes prior to his two albums. Rookie of the Year, Hunger Games 2, Hunger Games 3, and PTSD. I didn't know that. So just researching him, I found that out. But what's the most interesting is this latest album debuted at number 2 on a Billboard 200. So that equates to 105.8 million streams of this album. That's kind of crazy.
That's crazy. I never would have guessed it.
Yeah, I didn't know Rod Wave was this popular. Honestly, I know I had a couple people reach out to me, telling me, "Oh, I should check him out," this, that, and the third. But I never knew he was this popular. In all honesty,
what people was telling you to check him out?
Co-workers, people on Twitter, just stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Just people in general. I asked you ever heard of Rod Wave? Like, especially once they find out that I do Dead End Hip Hop.
Yeah, I've never heard of him until you mentioned him, Feefo.
Yeah. But if y'all go back and listen to that first podcast that me and Ken did on his initial album, it's called Ghetto Gospel. It dropped last year, November. On this, I had a couple questions after listening to the project, and one of them was like, I don't see how he grows and evolves this sound, right? Because if you go back and listen to that first project, it pretty much sounds like this from a sonic perspective. And that's cool because Rod Wave, to me, man, is somebody that isn't necessarily the best singer, but you understand his pain and his struggle, and it comes through in his voice, and it's clear as hell. And he gives you a lot of gems as to why he is who he is. And y'all already know I like that. I like artists that are introspective. I don't hate it, but I don't love it. I think it's good, but it's kind of like, I don't know, when I listen to it, I'm just not 100% moved. Like it's cool, but it's like, I don't know if I'll return to it, even though I think that he's a talented artist.
This is definitely not like my kind of cup of tea or of, I guess, music that I would like or I prefer to listen to. I do agree with you though, Feefo, because I know I've been critical, or I know you've said stuff about like artists being more like knowing who that artist is about and stuff. And me listening to this, yeah, I get to see, hear or listen to what Rod Wave is about. I think it's just his approach to the music is what I don't like. I mean, sonically, everything. I think you used this word a lot before, Feefo. Samey. Like, I think everything on this album sounds very samey. Like, this album sounds like one big whole same song. And this was definitely, I ain't gonna front, this was definitely a chore to listen to. Like, by the time I got to like my third or fourth listen, I was like, Jesus Christ, this is horrible. Because the first time it literally ended up just becoming background music. I was like, okay, let me not do stuff. Let me sit and focus, because that shit came background music for me quick. The greatest was probably, if it was any song where I was like, okay, this is kind of cool. It was a little more upbeat, a little bit more, kind of braggadocious a little bit. The greatest was cool, but like, it was like he was driving the same point throughout this entire. And is this last project like that too, Feefo?
Yes.
God, yeah. I mean, I get it. Like, yeah, you've been through some rough times or whatever. People stabbed you in the back. You had love. It's just like, I feel like you can only take so much for an entire project, man. And like I said, his approach to the music and just how everything sounds, and then the whole him rapping and then going into singing in the middle of his rapping and coming back. Yeah, it just wasn't my cup of tea, man. Just the way he does it. He didn't do it. He didn't execute good as far as just his approach to the music, in my opinion. That's why I didn't care for this project at all.
You know what, B? Like that was part of my questions the first time we reviewed his other project, was like, sonically it sounds the same. It's kind of like, okay, so beat wise, what are you gonna do different? content wise, what are you gonna do different to kind of tie in different things into one project? And I feel like he doesn't do that well. It's like you said, it's samey, and it's like he beats you over the head with the same stuff. And to me, like the content, if your content is samey, that's cool, but the way you do it needs to be different, right? Like, because when we listen to Coke rappers and West Sides and Griseldas and Freddie and, you know, a whole bunch of rappers that I can name, they rap about the same shit, but the beats are so different, their flow, their cadence, everything is so different that you have to give them props. And like with something like this, it's kind of like, all right, cool, I like your story, I like the fact that you're putting it out there, but it's like you lose me.
What I was gonna say is the reason why I asked you like who was telling you about it when we first opened this up or whatnot, because right before we came into the review, because it just was, when I was listening to it, I was like, damn man, why does it sound familiar? Or whatever. And he sounds like Kevin Gates. I don't know if y'all listen to Kevin Gates at all.
Yeah,
but he sounds a lot like Kevin Gates.
He's a Kevin Gates artist.
Oh, he is?
Yep.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So I was like, yeah, he sounds like Kevin Gates, but that's not it. I was trying to figure out like where I heard him before. And like I said, right before we came onto this review, I looked, like, wait a minute, because I don't know the name of the song, so I knew part of the lyrics. And the song was called Hard on Ice. Is that on the last album? Y'all heard that song, Hard on Ice?
No.
Whatever.
Yeah. You're right, because
Hey, asking you.
I hope not.
It's called Hard on Ice.
Yeah, that was on the last project.
And I'm like, where did I hear this? And it was my daughter. And I was like, ain't that about a bitch?
Wow.
And I was like, yeah, he's popular, man. It's not because of just all of these people that just listen to him. He's popular off that TikTok shit.
But number 2 on Billboard, though?
Yeah, these kids,
that
man, listen to what I'm saying. These kids are blowing these no-name artists up, these YouTube rappers, all of this, and it's like messing up the algorithm, because it's like everybody's doing these challenges and all this other stuff. Because my daughter, man, she plays this all the time, so I can understand why the streams are so high on it. But is it just like this variety of people just listening to this guy? I really don't think so. I mean, this was a waste of time, man. Time, bro. Like this, I was mad listening to this, man. Oh my god! Like y'all said, it sounds like one long song, and it sounds like what he tried to do is make every song like Hard on Ice. Every song sounds like that song. Oh my god, man! I did not like this at all. And
it was a chore, wasn't it, Rod?
Yes. When you told me he was like one, that's why I asked you, like, was he one of those singing song rapper dudes? Because I just don't like it, man. I just do not like it. And this whole album was like that. And then the thing is one thing y'all was saying too is like, you know, the content, right, is the way he approaches it is what messes it up. Because I could see, you know, liking this if he was more like a rap or even trap rap type dude. You know what I'm saying? But the fact that he's taking the approach of trying to sing these songs is like, it's a disconnect. Like when I saw 5% Tint, I was like, oh man, that might be hard. But then he was singing. And I was like, bro, you can't have a song called 5% Tint and singing, and you can't have a song called Thug Motivation and singing. Like that's just, it's a disconnect. It just doesn't make sense.
But Rod, there's other people that in hip hop, they sung and the shit was hard as fuck. Like Akon, like Nate Dogg, even Weeknd, even though it's on some other shit. You know what I'm saying? Like even though I know you feel like it ain't hard, but I'm saying like you can
bring it back, Feefo. I'm
shit.
trying to see where you're going with this one.
I'm just saying you can sing some hard shit. It's just that it doesn't come off like that for him. It doesn't.
He's 100% correct. He don't have to over-explain that. He's right. Come on, y'all. Now, I'm not disagreeing with Rod. Don't get it twisted. But I'm just saying, yeah, man, dudes have sung and did some hard shit. Nate Dogg, easily. Weeknd, I don't give a fuck what none of y'all say, easy. But
all right, well, here's the thing about other guys that sing. Like, either the beat sounds hard when they singing, or it's something else about it that makes it sound hard. I don't think he has that. That's the difference between when he sings about something that should be kind of hard. I mean, again, like, I was so disappointed when I saw 5% Tints, because that's something we used to talk about in Florida all the time, 5% Tints and stuff like that. And it's like, damn, man, it was so disappointing that it sounded like that.
It was disappointing.
Yeah, because I was like, okay, maybe he's gonna switch it up and do something on some of these. Like I said again, Myke, he has stuff to call Fuck the World, Thug Life, Thug Motivation. Like I said, 5% Tint. It's like 5% Tint is like one of those things that, you know, I don't know if it was here or other places, but it was a thing in Florida or whatever. Like when we used to always, if you ain't got the 5% tint, you ain't got the real tint type of thing. So it just, the fact that he just didn't come, it just hit with that. And shout out to St. Petersburg, Florida, because I know people in St. Petersburg, Florida. That's where he's from. It's like in the Tampa area. And I know, like that's what I said, I could understand some of the stuff he's talking about. That's why it was disappointing to me, because I could see some of the Florida, I could hear some of the Florida inspired things, but it just didn't connect. And I was just like, damn, I wanted to like this, but it's just this I can't. Mm-mm. I'm sorry.
Oh.
I'm sorry, man.
Who's next?
Hey, Myke, I already been down this rabbit hole once with the other review, so you can go, bro.
Wait, good way to segue that one out, Ken.
That's fucking funny. I really don't have anything to say.
Got Myke better.
Look, I will usually give an album 3 listens. This felt like I gave it 6 and I gave it 1. And I'm not even trying to shit on this guy. I'm really not. But what B said is exactly what was in my head. Everything on here sounded like one song. Everything had a damn piano sample. Everything had the slow beat, and he did not change his flow for fucking however many songs. Was this 15 songs?
14 songs.
14 songs. The only song that was any different was the very first one.
Yeah.
I don't know if y'all picked up on it, but he had that pop flow.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay. All right. This is kind of nice. It's smooth, but it's pop. It was like, it kind of felt like, that's just the way it is. It felt like some changes shit. And I was like, yeah, all right, I might be in the mood for this. You know what I'm saying? I can't go outside. I'm on isolation. That's just the way it is. You know what I'm saying? But no.
You get your 2-step on, Myke?
What? You know what I'm saying? I was hitting him with this one, B. You know
Oh shit! Oh shit!
You know what I'm saying?
You know about that shit?
Oh shit! Oh Zoe! Oh!
Yes.
But nah, by the third song, I was just like, nope. Mm-mm.
Mm-hmm.
Because it just got to a point where it was, and again, I really don't want to insult people. I don't.
Right.
But this was one of the most inconsequential albums I've heard in years. Like, I really don't remember anything, because I really felt like I listened to the same song for an hour.
No,
And I don't really get it. Not because I'm old, don't start that shit, but I'm saying, like, I don't get how an album like this will jump to popularity. I get what Rod was saying with the TikTok thing, but Ralph, when you presented it, I was thinking that this guy was extremely popular and I had just missed the boat on something. I don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't get it. But the thing is, I will say, I appreciate him putting a lot of raw emotion into his project. I appreciate the stuff that he's saying. I appreciate, his take on, I don't know if you want to call it heartbreak, but betrayal and growing up in these kind of rough areas. I appreciate all that. But sonically, this was very dull to me, very derivative. And yeah, man, there's no way I could put this on again. I couldn't make myself do it.
I think one of the things that I asked myself was, is this a viable trend? And when Feefo presented to doing this again as a group, I thought maybe something had changed with his sound. And when the first intro track came on, I'm like, oh, he's doing something different from what I remember from Ghetto Gospel, because I haven't listened to it since the last time we reviewed it. And then it went to the same old stuff. And when Rod said that he blew up because of TikTok, it made sense to me finally, because I'm not hearing the sound anywhere else. And I wonder if this was just a Florida thing and it's just isolated to like St. Petersburg area or just the state. And maybe it was a sound specific to that area.
Stuff that blows up in the hood, you know what I'm saying, that eventually gets national attention. Like, yeah, it blows up like in that small demographic. Like, I don't know if you looked at that video of Fabo and Parlay that Shelton sent, you know, in the Dead End Sports chat. But like I watched part of that and they were kind of talking about like where Snap music started. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know what the hell you call what Rod Wave does. Like if it has like a name of that style of music. But yeah, I could definitely see this blowing up like in St. Petersburg, and then it just grabs national attention. And I definitely think TikTok and social media and stuff like that helped it. But I don't think that social media alone puts it to number 2 on Billboard either. Yeah. You know, and when you turn on the radio, this guy's on the radio. Like there's 2 or 3 tracks off of this project now that's on the radio. And last year when Ghetto Gospel came out, he had like 2 or 3 songs on the radio too. So it's not just social media. It's definitely a component. I definitely think Florida bigged him up. Obviously I don't live there no more. So I like, you know, my ear isn't to the street. So I don't know what was bubbling and popping beforehand. But like Myke, I enjoy the content, but it's just like, it's just too fucking samey, man.
And see, I don't even enjoy the content, to be honest. I mean, I guess there's substance here, but one of the things I wrote down is I don't feel it. Like I don't hear like anything, no real substance for me.
I agree with Ken. I wasn't really saying that I enjoy the content so much, Feefo. I was more so saying that I appreciate like that he wasn't on some I'm hard, I'm a pimp, I'm fucking all these bitches type shit. So it was a little bit different. The problem I had with the content was I don't feel like he really went that deep on it. Maybe he would be good at storytelling, maybe. Usually when I hear an artist and it's not something that I particularly like, I can understand why other people like it. But an album like this of 15 songs that really sound exactly the same, I don't really understand why people are gravitating towards this album.
And that's what I was trying to figure out. And that's why I'm glad Rod said the TikTok thing, because it's making it make sense to me now. And I hear, you know, I understand what you're saying, people, that that is beyond that. And you're probably looking at the streams as evidence of that. But I do wonder if, kind of looping back into what Myke was saying, if people are hearing it on TikTok and going to Spotify or iTunes out of curiosity and streaming it there and then it dies down, that could inflate the numbers as well.
I'm telling you, that's what's happening, man. I have teenagers, man. I see them do this all the time, and then they just forget about the artist afterwards. Like, yo, what happened to that person you listened to? Oh yeah, that was just the thing that we was doing at the time, and that's literally it. It's sad actually, because it's messing up the system. Because we got these kids that just jumping on this trend. It's like when something goes viral, and that's it. There's no substance to it. It just goes viral, and then you hear nothing else from it.
But 108 million? That's a lot.
I think what's happening. What you mean? What's a lot? What you mean?
I mean, 108 million streams on an album is a lot just for.
Oh, you talking about on the whole album? You talking about the whole album?
Yeah, that's the part.
Hold on.
Right. So what I'm saying is,
look, hold on, Rob. Feefo about to tell us he was wrong.
No. This is from Double XL. This is, and I'm reading the first paragraph. On Sunday, April 12th, the Florida rapper's new album, Pray for Love, debuted at number 2 on the Billboard 200 chart. He was able to move 72,000 equivalent album units. That includes 2,000 traditional album sales. Wave's new project had a strong streaming week with numbers equating to 105.8 million on-demand streams.
So that's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Right. And what I'm saying, okay, but even if it is a lot, or whether it is a lot, what people are doing is listening to this song. Oh, this Rod Wave guy. Let me see if he has something else that I like. I'm telling you, I'm telling y'all, man, this is what's happening with this type of music.
I think Rod is right.
I'm telling y'all, I watch it, I see it.
Well, here's the thing though, Rod. I'm not disagreeing with you, but when I read this second paragraph, like it I don't know, it kind of puts it more into context. It says the only thing stopping Wave from reaching #1 this week was the Weeknd's After Hours album, which was able to keep its top spot after moving another 90,000 equivalent album units. This marks his third consecutive week at #1. Like, bro, he's competing with Weeknd.
Right.
Exactly.
But that can't be what it is then, Rod. It can't. I mean, I'm sure that's a lot of it. But if Weeknd only moved 90,000 more units than this, it can't just be people being curious.
Right. Listening to what you guys are saying, you're talking about an artist like Weeknd, right? That's been established and has several albums, have toured with plenty of people. This guy hasn't done that, right?
Right.
Right. So how does a guy like that compete with a Weeknd?
Because people apparently like the music.
No, Mike. Listen to what
he's on the radio.
Rod, there's no way it's just curiosity. For if Weeknd only sold, if Feefo's numbers are correct, if Weeknd only sold 90,000 more units, then this cannot be simply curiosity. This has to be people are curious and they like his music. We don't get it, but people apparently like his music.
Right. I get that. I'm not saying that people don't like his music. I'm saying that the TikTok thing is making them blow up, right? That one song. And people are going to listen to it and they like it right now. But what I'm saying is that he's not a Weeknd. Even though he's doing Weeknd numbers, he's not a Weeknd to where he'll be able to sustain that.
No, nobody's saying it's sustainable.
Oh, okay. That's what I'm saying. It's just the thing that's happening right now. Like, oh man, I like this one song. I'm gonna go listen to the rest of his music. It's not gonna last.
I don't know, because Ghetto Gospel stayed in the top 20 last year for over 4 weeks.
Hey, if it lasts, cool for him, man. You know what I'm saying?
I don't get it.
I'm just telling you what I noticed from what my teenagers do and what I've seen other teenagers do. They listen to this music until the next big TikTok or YouTube artist comes up. They move on to the next.
Favorite tracks?
Nope. We skipping that part.
Oh, you have one, the greatest.
That was the only one I had too. Remember, I when I was talking about the album, I was like, I probably, if I had to pick a positive, that probably was one track that I thought was cool. But yeah, I don't have favorite tracks.
Yeah. I don't know what that. I can't remember what greatest sound like. Maybe I would have liked that one too. But as of right now, I don't have any favorite tracks. I just don't like this music. And I know that it's like disrespectful. It sounds disrespectful, but I just don't, man. If I said favorite tracks, I'd be lying. I don't have it.
I wrote down two that caught my attention. I won't say they're my favorite tracks, but yeah, the greatest and rags to riches.
It's okay if you don't have any, Myke. It's okay.
It's gonna have to be okay because I'm not gonna lie.
You're right.
So Rod Wave, if you watching, man, this is the second time you're in the Dead End Hip Hop Chamber. First time it was audio only. Look, I feel like there's something there. I just don't feel like it's extracted to its fullest potential. And I think what's kind of holding you back is the samey thing. I think that your production, the way you approach the music, is too samey. If we had like 2 or 3 tracks that sounded like that, but then you explored more different type of production, and your flow and your cadence on certain things, I think that you can make a way more interesting project. Because again, I think the content is there. I think that the introspectiveness, people want and need that, and especially at your age group. However, even with that being said, we talked about all of your successes, and obviously your formula is working. So I'm not gonna say like completely abandon what you're doing. I just think as an artist to find a happy medium, because I think that there has to be some type of growth.
Obviously don't listen to my opinion, because what Feefo mentioned earlier about you being in the billboards and everything like that. So whatever you're doing is working for you. It's just your particular art just doesn't connect with me personally. So I mean, it doesn't hit with me sonically, anything. Like I said, I just didn't like the approach of the music. Everything just kind of sounded really samey for me. But yeah, wish you much success, brother. I mean, like I said, whatever you're doing, it's working. If you can sustain that, more success to you. It's just something that I just, won't revisit or go back to or either care to listen to because it's just not for me.
Rod Wave, if you're watching, yeah, man, same sentiment. Shout out to you, man, for the attention that you're garnering so far, and people actually, I mean, I say what I say just for the review, but if you are sincerely getting traction just outside of TikTok, more power to you, man. That's dope. I mean, just from you being from St. Petersburg, I'm from Pensacola, Florida, so like I mean, I wish I did like this more, and maybe it could be what Myke is saying. I could be getting old or whatever, and I may have liked this back in the day, but yeah, for me it was just like a slight, well, not slight, but it was just a disconnect as far as like the content and the way you approach the songs, and that really was it. If I think if it had like a harder sound, I actually might like this a little bit more, but no way, shape or form I'm telling you to go with a harder sound, because obviously what you're doing now is working for you. So, as B said, my opinion don't really matter on this. So, like I said, it's just not my style of music that I particularly like. So,
Rod Wave, if you're watching, man, I'm gonna tap out on this one. Like it's just, I just don't understand it. I think it just may be outside of my scope to understand it.
Rod Wave, I don't really have anything to say to you, man. Your music is not for me, but it's clearly for a lot of fucking people. You are doing incredible numbers, so good luck to you. More power to you. Hopefully you can sustain this. But yeah, I'm sure you don't care about someone like me having an opinion on your music, and I wouldn't either if I were you. Focus on the people that are streaming your shit 100 and whatever million times. Focus on that, man, and keep doing your thing. And yeah, more power to you. Good luck.